I do tell you to go to page 23 to add a backwards example. Maybe I will do that right here. Backwards mean. Determine a score required to achieve mean, right? I'm just going to give you an example, and that's all I'm going to do here. Example, let's say you have test scores 60%, 45%, 70%, and 80%. Okay? I'll just say this. Determine score on 5th test. Should I zoom into that or what? Can I zoom into that? Determine score on 5th test to achieve an average of, let's say, 85%. I'll do the example next door, okay? So I'll say this. Mean is sum divided by number of values. And I'm going to use a red pen for my substitutions. I'm going to say that 85 goes in here. That is for the mean. Figure out the sum. Figure out the sum. So I'm going to go here and just add it up. This is 80 and 70 is 150, 195, 255. Okay. That's so that's 255. And what needs to happen here? What needs to happen after this? If you're doing backwards, you want that 5th test. There are 4 values, right? So this is 4 values. You're gonna add that for the 5th value. Okay? And then you're gonna divide it by 5. This is the 5th value, that's a placeholder, and so therefore this should be divided by 5. If you're considering 9 tests and this is the 10th test, you want to know what do I need to get on that one, you'd have to divide by 10. Okay? And now we do the backwards operations. We do algebra, right? So we go times 5 times 5. That gets us to cancel out here. So we end up with 255 plus x. And what's 5 times 85? 5 times 80 is 400, plus another 25, that's 425. Yeah, 425. And what is the last step? Subtract 255 because it's adding to x, right? And so x is equal to 425 minus 255. $170. Something went wrong. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I mean, it could be. It's just impossible for you so far to achieve this. It is 5 times 85. Yeah, it's actually 170. What does that mean? Impossible. Greater than 100%. So when it comes to test scores, 100 is like your limit, right? If you go past that, you can't achieve your goal. You got to settle for less. Okay? So this whole thing, I used up too much space in my opinion. And if you want more, page 23 has got the example for you. Okay? You got this down, hopefully. Next, we're going to do trim to mean. Okay, I'm going to add trim to mean to your study sheets. I'm going to do that over here. Couple of things with trimmed mean. Remove an equal amount of values from both ends. Okay. Example, highest and lowest. It removes outliers and bias, right? Outliers and bias. Better representation of data. Okay. Example, let's go with temperatures. I will already arrange them. Oh no, maybe I won't, right? -5 degrees Celsius, -20 degrees Celsius, 15 degrees Celsius, 17 degrees Celsius. One more. Let's go 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, so the trimmed mean would simply be, you look at your values, you take away the highest, and you take away the lowest. And then you do the average of what remains, okay? So this would be -5, okay, plus 15, plus 17, divided by 3. If you have a calculator like mine, I can type in -5 like that, then go plus 15, plus 17. So that's 27 divided by 3. That's 9 degrees Celsius. I'm going to go lowest. This one is highest. One more. Mean is most. affected. The mean is most affected by trimming the mean. Okay? You'll see the biggest difference in that. Median is unchanged. You should have those concepts because they don't always just ask you to do the math, they often ask you, do you understand? Okay? They find ways to get you to understand. Gabriel, are you able to put all of this in yet or no? Do you have room? Or is it done already? Oh, okay. The competition here. Okay, so that's it for trimmed mean. Very important topic. Okay. Is trimmed mean always something you should ask for as a student? Should you always ask for the trimmed mean? Not necessarily. If you have a bunch of really high scores and some that are not so high, sometimes trimming actually brings your mark down. So don't be thinking it's always best, but most of the time, if there's like a very big outlier, we want to remove that, okay? Okay, last one. I call this a puzzle. They've done puzzles a lot. And then we'll write an AC to see how you're doing. Can you do puzzle? I will have puzzles frequently. Let's say the mean is supposed to be mean, median, mode. I'm making this up, so I have to be careful here. Hold on. If the median is, let's say, it's 7. The mode, let's say it's 4. And okay, let's see here. The mean, if I take this away from 60, 45. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to pause the video. I need to make sure this puzzle works out. So let's say the province says, hey, we want you to come up with 5 numbers. Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 5. It depends. We want you to come up with 5 numbers. And you can pick between 1 and 20, right? You can use values between 1 and 20 to make sure this happens. So make me a data set to make sure all of this is met. Which one should you start with? Which one do we know for sure is fixed? Mode, yeah, but I would say median, we know that that's in the middle, correct? So this is the first thing that you should do. Do that first, write it down, okay? The next one I would tackle is my mode. Okay, this is the second one that I tackle. Mode is what? The one that appears most often. And since this is the median, we know that to the left is our values below, to the right our values above. So this would be 4 and 4. Okay, there you have your mode taken care of. And now you need to fill out the rest. You already have 2 out of 3 marks there. Now you need to do this one. This is where I will tell you this. What should all 5 of them add up to? What do we normally do to get this 8? We go sum of all divided by 5, correct? To get our average. So we're going to take 8 times 5. We know that this is supposed to add up to 40 because if we have 40 and then divide it by 5, we will get our 8. So this is the, let me highlight this because some of you are not going to know where I got that 8 from. So we already know, what does this add up to here, this chunk right here? 4 and 4 is 8 and 7 is 15. So what does this have to add up to? You go 40 minus 15, that's 25. Adds up to 40. So now you have to do a little bit of puzzling. Okay? So you can go 10 and 15 if you want. You can go 11 and 14. So there are options. Okay, there are options to get that done. Okay. As long as it adds up to 15, you're fine. Could you have, I made this one up, so I can't always give you the perfect example, but could you have two numbers that are the same here? Could you have two numbers, like could you have 12 and 12 if that's what it called for? No, because now you have another mode. You will lose the mark for mode if you do that. You will still get the mark for mean, but you won't get it for mode. So you have to be careful that you check every single box when you do one of these. Okay. Let me see here. I won't have this on the video because I might get this wrong. If we get it wrong, we'll erase it. Okay, so this might not work out. But we still have 4 and 4. The mode is still the same. The median, if my median is supposed to be 7, guys, if it's an even number of values, you can't just put a 7 in a specific spot. But how can you go around it? Could you do 6 and 8 in the middle? If you do 6 and 8, between them is your 7, right? So we still do that. Our mode is still 4 and 4, right? We'll put 4 and 4 here because we know that our mode is supposed to be that. What will be the sum of all of this? It'll be 8 times 6, which is 48. Remember, our mean multiplied by the number of values gives us that. What does this already add up to? This is 10 and 12, that's 22. Which means this has to add up to, I'm going to go 48 minus 22. I'm too nervous to get this wrong, so I'm using my calculator. Would this work? Can I go 13, 13? It would work for the 26, but if I have 13, 13, now my mode is 4 and 13, so you can't use 13, 13. But can I use 12 and 14? Yes. You could use 11, 15, right? Hey, that actually worked. It actually worked. So they've done either one. Can I just say this? Can you at least get 2 out of 3 on this one? You can get your median. You can get your mode. If the average is something you get wrong, I can live with that, okay? But just make sure you get that right. I'm gonna highlight the amount of slots, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna highlight that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's where I got the 6 from. Okay, in case you're wondering what in the world happened there. So this is puzzle. You know what? Every year they do one, it seems. I don't know which semester gets this one, but they want to know, do you understand mean, median, and mode? Okay, so I would strongly encourage you at that.